Hey God, what you got back over? What you got back over there?
This is my latest and greatest invention, the human making machine.
A human maker? Whoa!
Yes, that is correct, Obvious. And it's actually in the middle of making a brand new spanking boy. It's coming right up.
Why did you make him like that, God?
I'm sorry, but are you questioning my great and all-knowing ways?
Oh boy, I can't wait to start shooting and stabbing people just like God knew I would. Oh, that was fantastic.
Shooting McStabster, I can't fucking believe you just did that shit. But for this, you must die.
I would like to extend a nice, warm, silky, unscripted welcome to perhaps the only couple of people that are watching this video. Thank you. Come say hi to me in the comments. I like it. It makes me feel squishy. Alright, let's move along. So we all know that God created everything. Christians will go on and on about how perfect everything is, like the complexity of our minds and our bodies, how the earth is perfectly suited for us with food and water, and how the earth is at such a perfect whatever distance, at the perfect whatever angle. But of course, they would never credit God for all the evil in the world, like killer animals and disease and natural disasters, and the often overlooked creation of his, the design of the human mind. No one on this earth got to choose the mind they were given. They were simply born into the design that God created. How many of us would remove the evil tendencies in our mind if we could? If we had the option to remove drug addiction, a violent temper, or a lack of self-control from ourselves, all of us would. Nobody wants to have these shitty qualities. But no, instead it's something we have to fight within ourselves. What a stupid design. Having to fight our own minds. I want you to like imagine being given a car where one or more of the wheels move in the opposite direction you want to go. Imagine this. Imagine that you create the world's first self-driving car, but you create it in such a way, and you're so smart that you are 100% certain that it will crash itself. And you know when and where it will happen. You are the creator of this vehicle, and you certainly could make it so that it wouldn't crash itself, but you don't. So then you sell it off, and as you predicted, it crashes itself. But instead of taking responsibility for the design you created, imagine if you blamed and punished the car. If you assume that God knows all things, that is exactly what God has done with us. He created you knowing every sin you would ever commit, and he will hold you accountable for it instead of himself. But hold on, you say, God created us with free will. He has no control over what we do with our free will. That's impossible. If God knows everything, it isn't possible for you to have free will. If God knows you will sin, it is absolutely impossible for you to not commit that sin. Not sinning was never an option if God knew you would do it, which of course he always does. But notice, I'm not saying he's controlling you to commit sin. He isn't puppeting you into sin. He is simply aware you are completely incapable of sinning. But despite being completely aware of your incapability of doing the right thing, he still holds you accountable as if you could have done something else. But punishing you aside is bad enough. On top of that, it's literally his fault. Because if I create a bomb and I set it to go off in 1 hour, is anyone going to be so stupid as to say it's the bomb's fault that it went off? Or that I can't be held responsible because I wasn't directly controlling it at the time it went off? Of course not. And so, what we're left with is a creator who designed us to sin, then punishes us for it. Any and all evil are a direct result of God's deliberate and conscious design. Now, if you're a theist, try to rise above the temptation and the trap of thinking, typical atheist, trying to find a way to blame God instead of taking responsibility. That is an easy way to discredit what I'm saying without actually thinking about what I'm saying. Remember, I can't blame a God that I don't believe in. I would appreciate it if you tried to take what I'm saying fairly. That's all. I would really appreciate that. Anyways, that sums up the bulk of the argument. So the key questions to theists. 1. How can we have free will, meaning the ability to do something other than what God predicts, if God knows everything? 2. How can God justly punish his own creations for the way he himself created them? How is God not evil if he is the creator of all evil? And on top of that, little off-script thought that just popped into my head. Sometimes I'll hear that like, well, God isn't causing the evil, he's just not doing anything, he's neutral. And I still think that's evil, because I want you to imagine if you just had a bunch of atheists standing by a pool and then a baby fell into the pool and they sat there and did nothing. And then they said, we're just being neutral over here, even though they had the complete capacity to go and save it. Wouldn't you consider that evil? There is absolutely nothing that God cannot do. He is perfectly capable of fixing every problem in the world, but he allows it, if he exists. Anyways, if you think I'm going to hell, remember to be a good Christian by subscribing and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Thanks for listening to me.